I'll be explaining 3 of Christ's parables to you, and we are going to start with the parable of the sower. So let's get into it. Matthew chapter 13, verse 19, we begin, or verse 18. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not. What is the kingdom? The kingdom is your mind, your spiritual mind, to be exact. Who is the Word? Isn't Christ, God's Son, the Word? But who is Christ? You see, Christ's name means I am salvation. So the salvation is I am, right? I am is God's name according to Exodus chapter 3. Name means nature. God's nature is love, right? So a loving nature or a loving awareness of being is the Savior, you see. That is God's Son who is come in your flesh, in you. God's loving nature is his Son, you see. Then comes the wicked one. Who is the wicked one? The wicked one is Satan, right? But who is Satan? Satan is the carnal mind, you see. Isn't Satan named as the accuser of the brethren? Doesn't Satan or the carnal mind accuse you day and night before I am the awareness of being in you, which is God? Doesn't he do that? His accusations are these: I am worthless, I am stupid, I am powerless. You see? Do you see how he is trying to entice you to curse God's name, which is I am? When you say I am worthless, when you think it or feel it even, you are cursing God's name. You have received the seed or the thoughts of the enemy, the wicked one, Satan, the carnal mind in you, you see? And catches away that which was sown in his heart, you see? Christ's word, which is God's loving nature, was sown in your heart. Heart is an anagram for earth. Do you see how the seed, the thought, is sown in your heart, in the earth? You see? But the carnal mind immediately snatches it away in this case of that man. The carnal mind sends him a suggestion: man, you're worthless, you're powerless, I am worthless, I am powerless. Is the suggestion, the thought, or the seed that he is sending to you, or he is offering you, and that man accepts it, you see? This is he which received seed, or the word, by the wayside. You see? He receives seed by the wayside. He receives the thought or the words of Satan by the wayside from another man, right? From the carnal mind, rather, not from the spiritual mind, not from Christ, who is God's loving nature, but from Satan or the carnal mind, which is death. You see, death is psychological suffering, which is what is produced in your mind through the carnal mind. You see, when you listen to him. But he that received, verse 20, by the way, but he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it. So this is the next example. In this example, a man receives the seed or the word, which is God's loving nature. He receives it, but he receives it into a stony place, into the stony heart, you see, into the stony earth, you see. The same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it. So at first he receives it, you see. Yet has he no root in himself. Why? Because his heart, which is the earth, is stony. There's all kinds of rocks in there. So the word, the thoughts of Christ, cannot take root in a place that is cumbered about with stones. Do you understand? It's just like with your garden. When your garden is cumbered with all kinds of stones and rocks, are you going to reap anything? The answer is no. Yet has he not root in himself, but endures for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, because of he is trying to keep the word, he is trying to keep God's loving nature, he is trying to keep the commandment of loving his neighbor as himself and loving God with all of his heart, mind, and soul, with all of his thoughts, feelings, and being. But persecution arises. People come to him and they're like, man, you're worthless. You're stupid. You're talking nonsense. You see? Persecution arises. And because of the word, by and by, he is offended. You see, he is offended because he is keeping the word, but people are attacking him. You see, he has no endurance. There are no roots. He has no root. So he's plucked up. He's faithless, you see. He is unbelieving. He has no root within himself. The word couldn't take hold because of his doubt, because of his unbelief, because he grew angry, because people started persecuting him. But the scriptures clearly tell you we must go through much tribulation to enter into the kingdom of heaven, to enter into the spiritual mind, you see. He also, verse 22, he also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful. So the worries of this world, they choke the loving nature. They choke Christ out of him. You see? They choke the love out of him. He is too concerned with his fleshly worries and fleshly desires, you see? That kills the love in you. You see? You cannot sit at the table of mammon, the material world, and at the carnal mind's table, and at the table of, you cannot sit at the table of the Lord, of I am, of God, of the spiritual mind, and at the table of devils, the carnal mind, Satan, you see. You can't be double-minded is what that means, because a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways, you see. And he becomes unfruitful, you see. He can't yield any fruit. He can't yield the fruits of the Spirit, which are joy, peace, love, meekness, and so on and so forth. You see, when your mind, when your kingdom is worried with all kinds of superficial material things and worries, then where's the place for love in you, you see? You can't have both. You must decide, you see? But he that received seed into the good ground, into his good heart, into his loving heart that was ready and able to receive, the heart that was circumcised, you see? You aren't supposed to circumcise your thing down there. You are supposed to circumcise your heart. You see, your heart is surrounded, when you are in the state of the natural man, it is surrounded with stone. That's the foreskin of the heart. You have a hard-hearted heart. You see, that's the foreskin that has to be removed. And only when it is removed and it is tender, a heart of flesh, a heart that is able to love is what that means. Only then can the seed, the word, God's loving nature take root in you, you see? But he that received seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word, who hears and receives God's loving nature and understands it, which also bears fruit. And he bears fruit because his heart is ready and able to receive. And now he produces joy, love, peace. I am love. I am peaceful, I am joyful. That is the fruit, you see? And brings forth some 100-fold, some 60, some 30, you see? Here's the next parable. Verse 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven, the spiritual mind, is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field, good thoughts, good loving thoughts from Christ in his field. The field is your mind. Sorry, it's your heart. The field is your heart. Remember? Heart is an anagram for earth. You see? The sower sows into the earth. God is the sower. He sows his thoughts into the earth, your heart, you see, so that it bears the fruit. But while men slept, so people were, the man to whom this mind belongs, he wasn't paying attention. But while men slept, you see, he wasn't paying attention. His enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. Who is the enemy? It is the wicked one that we read about earlier. It is Satan, the carnal mind. He is sowing while you are sleeping and not paying attention. For out of the heart come the issues of life, you see? That is where you are supposed to keep watch. You see? That's the field where everything grows out of. All your experiences in this life. That is why you are supposed to keep watch. But this man is sleeping. And while he wasn't paying attention, the carnal mind, Satan, starts to sow, I am useless, I am powerless, I am stupid. Do you see? Came and sowed tares. The tares are those deaf thoughts. The I'm useless, I'm powerless, I'm stupid, that's deaf, you see? Among the wheat, among the good thoughts that he already sowed in his heart, you see? And went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also, you see? There was some good fruit. I am loved, I am peaceful, I am joyful, but there was also the tares. I'm useless, I'm stupid, I'm powerless. You see, double-mindedness. Carnal mind, spiritual mind. Carnal mind, spiritual mind. That's double-mindedness. Christ tells you to be single-minded. Make your I, your mind, your I am single. You see? So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed, good thoughts, good loving thoughts in your field, in your heart? From whence then has it the tares, the evil, deaf thoughts? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this, the carnal mind, with his deaf and doubt thoughts. The servants said unto him, Will you then that we go and gather them up? But he said, No, lest while you gather up the tares, the evil deaf thoughts, you root up also the wheat, the good loving thoughts with them. Verse 30. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. You see, the reapers, the angels, the messengers in you, the energy centers that you have in your body, they separate them with you through I am, through the awareness of being, which is God in you. Let both of them grow together until the harvest. And at the time of the harvest, you will separate them. You will gather first the tares, the evil thoughts, the deaf thoughts, and bind them in bundles to burn them. You will destroy them. But gather the wheat, the good, loving thoughts into your barn in your mind. You keep them, you see? Let's go for the next parable. Matthew chapter 13, verse 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven, the spiritual mind, is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind. Now, what does that mean? And again, the spiritual mind is like unto a net. Your mind is like a net, right? That was cast into the sea, into the great abundance of thoughts, you see? And gathered of every kind. So your mind gathers all kinds of thoughts, you see? Which when it was full, when your mind was filled, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. The good thoughts, you see, you are dividing the good thoughts from the bad thoughts. You are dividing the sheep from the goats. You are dividing the wheat from the chaff. You are keeping the good, loving thoughts that you receive from Christ, and you put them into your barn, into your mind. And the bad ones, the goats, you cast them away. You burn them. You see? Yeah, that's it for now.